Are you satisfied? Happy? Miserable? Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? It's time for the Michele Hughes Show, where we keep it real. Tune in daily and join our controversial topics as we talk about singles, sex, and men and women's issues. And now, the queen of relationships on the Michele Hughes Show. Always keeping it real. Your host, Michele Hughes.
Well, welcome to the Michele Hughes Show. Yes, we had some difficulties, but we're going to continue on with the show because we want you single women to understand those things. We want the men to understand those things they should avoid in a single woman. Yes, the title today is Single Women to Avoid. And yes, women, we are going to talk about you today because we talked about the men yesterday. So it's only fair that we give the brothers some play today and let them know about what's going on. And I'm so happy that you stayed with us. And you can go back and listen to the replay to those who may be left because we're having some technical difficulties earlier. Well, let's just delve right on in here because I believe that there are times when you guys, you're looking for good women too. And it may seem like the men, they're not looking for good women. Yes, they are. They want a good woman too. And so that's why we're going to tell you about some of these women that you need to avoid because you are too good to be holding on to a female that's not giving you your propers. And so today, we're going to start out with number one, don't desire to serve God. These women, they don't have a clue. They don't want to think about God. All they want to do is what? Think about themselves in most cases. How pretty am I? Look at me. I'm pretty. Who's thinking about God? And so when you find a woman who all they thinking about is nothing about God, you're going to have problems with this person down the road, especially if you're going to church, you're serving God, you're doing all the right things, but this person doesn't have a clue on really what it is to have a good relationship with God. So you don't really want that person if they don't serve God. Two is don't relate to men. Now, what we mean by don't relate to men is that, again, they only are thinking about themselves. They're not really talking about making a long-term commitment. All they're thinking about is really having fun, thinking about what you can give to them, what you can buy them maybe, but they really are not interested in you as an individual far as long-term relationship. Now, women, don't you all hit me. You were okay when I was talking about the men. Now, don't get angry with me because I'm just telling it like it is. There's some women who don't. They don't have, they don't desire to commit to a man. All they're thinking about is what they're going to get out the relationship. Just like there's some men who think the same way. But today we're talking about women. Three, haven't figured out their career choices. There are many times that you will get with a woman who maybe they think they know what they want to do, but they haven't given it too much thought because they're having too much fun. They might live with their parents, or I'm talking about the younger one, they might live with their parents, so they don't have to really work because their parents are taking care of them. Now, as you get older, you should look at that person if they still don't have or have made a career choice as far as what they plan to do in the future with their life. Okay. 4 is daddy's girl syndrome. Now, I'm going to raise my hand to that one because I've been guilty of being daddy's girl. But my father, he always made me to be a responsible person. I always worked. I wasn't one of those type of girls who just laid on their dad and just went and got money from them. No, we're talking about those type of girls who all they do is lay on their fathers, and their fathers basically have spoiled them and give them whatever they want. And they don't have to work. They don't have to be responsible. All they have to do is continue to be daddy's girl. And you know, who you going to blame? One day they'll wake up and realize no one really wants to be with them except for maybe have a good time, but that's it. But you're looking for something more. You men who really are being selective about the women who you want in your life, you're looking at that and saying, no, I want more than that. I don't want a person who's all caught into their dad and can't look at me as their mate one day. And singles, one day you're going to get married, and if you don't correct some of these issues that I'm talking about today, it's going to end up, you're going to find yourself in a relationship with the same type of ideas of a relationship. You're going to take that into a relationship with your mate, and your dad's different from the man that you're going to hook up with. So if you don't learn now while you're dating, it's not going to get better. If anything, it's going to get worse. So remember that. Just remember what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with having a good relationship with your father. I admonish that. I think that's the best thing that could ever happen, is to have a good relationship with your dad. But when all you think about is your father and not committing, then just stay there until you get better. But don't try to mess up someone else's life when you know you're not serious about committing. That was something I did. I tried not to stay in long-term relationships because I knew I wasn't there. I wasn't ready to commit. So men, look, listen up. These are some of the single women you need to avoid because they're not ready for commitment. If you're ready for commitment, these are some of the areas that you need to look into and see, you know, is this person capable of committing? If they're not capable, you can't force them. You can't make them. They're going to do it their way because they are who they are. Okay, number 5 is doesn't have a church home. I just believe that if you want to have a good relationship with anyone in life, they should have or be committed to a church because that's how you grow. You don't know everything. I wish I could say I know everything. No, I don't know everything. So how in the world is this person going to know everything? They don't have a pastor, a leader teaching them spiritual things that will keep them strong in the things of God. That's how you grow thereby. A lot of times you're not getting into your word. Only word you're getting is when you go to church. And that's good if you have a person who basically they get into the word. But now we're talking about the women who you need to avoid, because a person you need to avoid because they're not thinking about church. You don't want to go to church. All they're thinking about is hanging out, partying, doing the things that they want to do, but it doesn't mean anything when it comes to how you want that person to be in your life, that female. I mean, there are attributes that you should look for in a woman. And if those attributes are not there, you can't make them be there. You can't say, well, she doesn't correct herself. I'm just going to take a chance, and hopefully when we get together, if we get married, it's going to get better. I've seen it too many times. If anything, it gets worse. Okay, number 6, have mood changes. You know, it might be that time of the month issue, or just get mad easily. These are the things that you need to look at. Sometimes women go through their mood changes when they're going through that time of month, you know, their menstrual periods. And but sometimes they don't have anything to do with no menstrual periods. They're just moody, and they have issues with attitudes. They'll get mad at anyone if they don't get their way. So you have to see how much can you tolerate. Can you tolerate that person with these mood changes? If not, these are some of the things that you should remember. The women that you should avoid. And I'm not saying if they only have maybe 1 or 2, as I said yesterday with the men, they got 1 or 2, maybe even 3. But if they have all 10, then you need to really look clearly and think maybe this truly isn't the person that you should even consider spending some time with. Number 7 is doesn't believe in submitting to a man. Now the Bible tells us that, you know, when you get married, and you should be looking at the person. If you don't want to get married, that's okay. But if you're thinking about marriage, then you should look at that person's personality and see they have capabilities of submitting. And I'm not saying that person's a doormat, so don't you all turn me off. I'm not saying that. But the Bible says submit one to the other. But that woman should submit to the leadership in her home. That man should be the leader. I found when you look at a lot of our homes today, where the men are not the leader in their home and the woman's leading, doing everything, it's just chaotic. Because God is not ordained to be that way. And so you have to learn how to submit. That might be the hardest thing in the world for you to do. But give it a try and see. But you can't do it with a person who has no capabilities of even thinking about submitting to anyone. So don't fool yourself. It's not going to happen. You can try if you want, but I guarantee you it's not going to happen. And you can say whatever you want, but just talk to some people. Don't take my word. Just talk to some of your friends. Maybe they've gotten married and ask them, what type of relationship do they have with the person that they're with, and do they submit, or what are the things that they enjoy about their wife. Ask around, and you'll see that that's a bad thing when you have a woman who basically doesn't want to submit to you. Well, listen, I'm going to go to a commercial break. We're going to come right back because we have some more things that we want to talk about.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as we deal with more heart-to-heart issues. This is the Queen of Relationships on the Michele Hughes Show, where we keep it real. Stay with us on the Michele Hughes Show. It's the Michele Hughes Show. We keep it real. We talk about singles, sex, men and women issues. Come join the conversation on the Michele Hughes Show. Are you satisfied, happy, or miserable? Are you looking for love in all the wrong places? Well, tune in daily and join our controversial topics. She is the Queen of Relationships on the Michele Hughes Show. She keeps it real. Don't miss a show with Michele Hughes.
All right. I want you to tell a friend about the Michele Hughes Show. Let them know that we're on every day, Monday through Friday at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And let them know that we talk about issues concerning singles. And we want them to have better relationships. And that's why we're here. Let them know she's our coach. She's here to help us understand some of the things that we're going through in our relationships. And so I'm just here to help you work through some of those intricate things that sometimes people don't talk about. But if you come here, you're going to get some answers. Well, let's continue on with the single women to avoid. I think we're at number 8. Number 8 says, has self-esteem problems. Maybe they love to gossip about others. And they just, really, in essence, they just talk too much. And they think it's their self-esteem when basically it is their self-esteem. If you think low about yourself, all you can do is go around talking about other people because that makes you feel better on the inside when you're looking at all the ruckus around you, instead of saying, I have issues too. And it's not just the other person. It's me. I stand in the need of help. And so when you know that you stand in the need of help, then it makes it a little, questionable about how you're talking about other people, because those people feel the same way. They don't want you talking about them. Okay, let's go on to number 9. Influenced by others lead into ungodly lifestyles. And what that means is that you find yourself entering into, talking about people. Really you don't feel that way. You don't really not like that person, but you're getting on the bandwagon because you're being led into a lifestyle that you don't understand, that it clicks will have you disliking people who they don't like, and so now you're following suit. Listen, you don't want a person like that in your life and in a relationship that doesn't have a mind of their own. You should be able to decide who you like or who you don't like. That was something I decided early. I can remember in junior high school being a part of like a little clique, and I promised myself when I got to high school I will never again be a part of any cliques. I don't like cliques because they tell you basically who to like, who not to like, and it was people on the other side when I was in junior high school that I liked. In high school, that person became friends. So no, you don't let no one tell you who you should like, who you shouldn't like. And so why would you want to be in a relationship with a woman who can't make good decisions on her own? So these are things that you need to think about. Are they easily influenced by other people? Because if they are, it's going to cause you some hardships in the end. And number 10 is insecure about appearance. Haven't you seen people, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, she's cuter than me, oh, she's ugly, I'm this, I'm that. Always have all these 101 reasons why they don't feel good about themselves. And that can become a burden to a man, because everything he's doing is trying to keep up with somebody else. And he's trying to say, well, honey, I love you, I think you're pretty, why are you going through all these changes? And she's like, well, because, look at me, just going through all these just crying battles and crying about everything, and because of whatever, maybe what other people said about her in the past, and now she's taking it to heart. And grow up. In other words, just grow up. That's what I'm going to tell you. Grow up. And men, do you want a woman like that? Do you want a woman who's insecure about everything about herself? Because it's going to bring on problems in your relationship. She's going to probably think you're cheating all the time, and the whole 9 yards. Because of what? She doesn't believe in her own self. And you want a person who can think good about themselves and not always being critical. Well, I got some bonuses. I had bonuses for me. I got some bonuses for you. The first bonus is this. Has a jealousy spirit. In other words, they'll cheat on you. This person will go out and cheat on you. If they find out you're cheating, they gonna cheat too. And so if they feel they found you out with someone and you're supposed to be dating them, and they think that you're cheating on them, well, they're going to get back at you. They're going to cheat on you too. So you better look at that, because, first of all, you shouldn't be cheating on anyone. That's number one. That's why you're dating. That's why you're free. You don't have to cheat. If you feel that this person is not capable of giving you what you need, just get out the relationship. These are some of the women you need to avoid. If she's cheating on you because of whatever, you need to just say, if I commit to her, what will happen? Yeah, she's going to cheat on you. That's what's going to happen. 2 is keep up confusion. Putting people against each other. Oh, I can just drill this in to the cows come home. Do you want to be with somebody who all they do is keep up confusion? Always in somebody else's business. Always got something to say. They think they know everything, but don't have a handle on their own situation. If we spent more time trying to get ourselves together, I can guarantee you we will have better relationships. Now, number 3 bonus is very competitive, always trying to outdo or keep up with others. Now, you can't keep up with everybody. Why are you? Keep up with it's hard not trying to keep up with yourself. So if you have a person who's always trying to keep up with somebody, oh, this person's this way, I don't understand, why am I, if you just say this, it's not going to work. You might as well find yourself another person, because that relationship is not going to work. It's just not going to. Why would you want it to work? It's hard enough trying to get with somebody who only maybe had 1 or 2 issues that we just went through on single women to avoid. But when they have a whole lot of issues, you got trouble on your hand. And then you got to think, do they hold grudges? There are people who hold grudges against people. And now, if you get mad with them, they going to hold grudges against you. They won't call you. You calling them 101 times. They won't pick up the phone. What's wrong? Why you won't pick up the phone, baby? Well, you made me mad the other day. Well, what did I do? Why didn't we talk about it? Well, I couldn't talk about it at that time. Well, okay, not calling me, not picking up the phone, that's going to help too? No, that's not going to help. So you got to figure out, is this the type of woman that you can live with? Now, we know women tend to be very sensitive about things. I mean, that's just our nature. But you have to figure out how much you can tolerate when you are in a relationship. Well, we only have, a couple minutes left here. We're going to close out at 3 o'clock, even though we had little technical difficulties. Well, I'm going to give you 5 types of women that men should avoid. One is that flirty girl. You know that flirty girl? That flirty girl. Now, with men do love women who flirt, but they are drawn to a good flirt. Besides being fun and charming, she's definitely not shy. That's what why women, men like women who, kind of like let them know that they are interested. Okay. But the flirter person shows interest right off the bat. Okay, getting to know you, just easier. It makes it a little easier for the person. But for most guys, not having they don't have all that work to do. Trying to figure out if you like them, do you want to be with them? But however, there is a difference between a situational flirt and a serial flirt. In other words, that person is flirting all the time, and they not just flirting with you, they flirting with anybody who will give them a little time. Now that's what you have to ask yourself. Do you want to deal with a person who not only do they flirt some of the time, but they flirting most of the time and not just with you? So these are the things that you need to ask yourself. Can you tolerate the flirty person? Or 2, the commitment person. This person is so anxious about the date until she starts to plan your future together. I mean, you just went on the first maybe 1 or 2 dates, and wham, your date starts talking about your wedding location and how many kids she wants and the big tiger, name of your future dog. That's just going too far. This will put a lot of pressure on a guy right off the boat. In any healthy relationship, the first couple of months, and especially the first couple of days, should be lighthearted. A woman who is fast forward to happily ever after makes guys wonder if they really are their perfect mate. With such a speedy narrative, perhaps her plans are all about fulfilling her dreams, regardless. Married. And there are many women. I remember some of my girlfriends, they were just so anxious about getting married because they wanted to have some children. You got to figure out why. What's your motive? And these are things that men need to look at. What's the motive? Why is she so anxious about getting married? Does she know me as a person? Or is it that she just wants to get married? And so many women are like that. But what about the clingy person? The needy. This is number 3. This is the clingy person. The needy nuisance. This girl can't go anywhere or do anything without the company of her man. She adopts his interests. She calls 15 times a day and flies off the handle anytime she's not around to monitor his behavior. The clingy person is more work than a relationship needs. She is there at your beck and call and relies on you to entertain her because she's basically has no life of her own. The clingy person smothers any chance of a guy missing her by robbing him of the energy and oxygen, or exhausting his patience with her and demands. Now, what about that party girl? That party girl, when men meet this ball of fun, they think she is the life of the party. She's carefree, maybe a little while, and from the outside, looks like a person they may be interested in once they get a closer look. However, they realize that her entire life is a party. While a guaranteed good time may seem like a good idea, what will she be like in the sobering light of the day? When she is drinking to basically have this partying personality. Her hilarious antics, outgoing personality, and righteous dance moves are good in small doses, but the party girl doesn't know the meaning of closing time. It's hard to have a healthy relationship with a person who is masking major problems underneath his or her party hat. Plus, we all know that people who can't amuse themselves without mind-altering substances just aren't any fun when the party is over. So now if you're with women, or you with a woman who basically she's a party hound, no, she's not in church. These are women you need to avoid. If you in church, why is she partying? But there are many of us who still hang out, even though we go to church. We say we're Christian, but we doing things that we shouldn't be doing because what? We're not where we need to be. And women, men, why are you hooking up with these type of women? Then you get with them, then you try and figure out, I want more, and why is she not the way I thought she was? Well, she's what she is. And if you don't accept a person for who they are, you are just living in a bubble. And that bubble gonna burst if you marry that person, and everything's gonna come out who they really are. So why put yourself in that position? Okay, the last one is the windbag. Sharing her great personality, this chatty Kathy, this hacky person. The windbag is a woman who never shuts up. They stop for a breath of fresh air, seemingly concerned about what is going on in their life, in her life. She's sharing all her fantastic insights. This chatty Kathy also is a drama queen. It has tendencies that are not good if you're looking for a really stable person who's going to help you in your relationship, to further it, to make it even more exciting. All she's going to do is what? Just talk. The windbag's rambling scenarios drive men crazy for obvious reasons. But they also make men feel a little obsolete, since they can go on and on without anyone else's input. Most people think it takes two to have a conversation, but not the windbag. Women are more verbal. Now we know we talk more than men, and get a bad rap for being just too talkative. A lot of times we do get a bad rap for being talkative. I know I'm talkative, And so when you just talk too much and don't know when to shut up, you got to ask yourself, men, is this the type of woman that you want to be with forever and ever and for eternity? Remember, the windbag, however, doesn't know that the sound of silence, it's golden. She needs to learn that the more you talk, the less you learn. I don't think the windbag. No, she ain't caught up to that understanding. Oh, no. All she can think about is what? Herself, and that's not good. Just to think about yourself. So we're gonna give her a little clap because you need to, calm down a little bit, windbag. So some of you may have a windbag. You may even have the partying girl. Or what about the clingy person? Or what? The flirty person, or the commitment person who has commitment issues. She's ready to, hey, give me that ring. First date, give me my ring. I'm ready to walk down the aisle. She don't know nothing about you, but she's ready to, hey, tie that knot, because she knows from the onset that you are what she needs. Now, does she really know that you're the person that she should be with? I would emphatically say N-O. But she feels in her heart that you are the person that she needs. Now, I'm going to say this. Women tend to be very sensitive about life. So they can X you out or X you into their life. It depends on where they are in life and who is the influencing them. Meaning some people take their cue from others. It's if someone they trust doesn't like a person, as I said the other day, they, just earlier, they're not going to like you. But women are very subjective to what others think about people, and they follow suit. I'm not saying there aren't men like this, but mainly women are like that on the whole. And these are some of the signs that we should look at when we are finding ourselves in relationships. Do you really know what you're getting yourself involved with? You should know that there's some women, men, listen up. There's some women you need to avoid. I mean, with passion, because they're not good for you. If some of these things register with you, then you need to count to 10 and say, thank you, Michele. Thank you for being my coach, because you're really helping me work through some of these issues that I have. And I don't want to just settle down with anybody. And maybe I'm being gullible, because the first woman comes in who finds me attractive, or she tells me some sweet things. We can tell some men some sweet stuff because we're being flirty and we want that man. But is she sincere about what she's saying, or is she just got your ear? And if she just has your ear, then you better think twice about maybe if this is the woman that you should settle down with. We're not trying to stop anyone from furthering their relationship. But what we are saying is this: think about what you're doing. Because if you're not thinking, no one's going to think for you. She's not going to say, oh, don't take me. And when she really wants this man in her life, no, she wants you to take her. She wants you to be in her life. And by right, you should want her. But you want the right person. You just don't want any person. And I'm not saying that this person is any person. But if they have, as I said, some of these characteristics that we have named, you need to give it a thought. Give it a thought. Count to 10. And say to yourself, thank you, Michele. At least you've given me something to think about. It's going to register over in my head. And I'm going to begin to ask God to give me peace in my spirit about if this is the woman I should be with. Because I don't want to do anything that's going to make me miserable in the end. And you want someone who will be there in the long run. What happens if you got sick? I mean, God forbid, I'm not trying to talk negative, but what if you really, got sick or something? There are women who will put you in the nursing home and keep moving because they're not going to take care of you. They're not going to see after you. They're not going to go out their way to make sure you're okay. You want a person who's going to be there in the long haul. And I'm not saying someone should get married to take care of someone, but you also want to marry somebody who loves you. And that they love you to the point of no matter what happens, they're going to be there for you, not just for what they can get out of the situation. And so if you know that I'm saying the truth, I want you just to clap your hand, clap your hand to yourself and say, thank you, Michele, again, because all you're doing is addressing things that I know that I feel in my spirit. But you're just addressing them and you're just bringing them out. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm not saying anything that you don't know, but I'm bringing it out. I'm exposing it. Because sometimes we don't expose the things in our life. We want to keep thinking, it's just, no, this is not true. But it is true. And if you don't face up to it as being true, you're just going to keep living in that bubble. And we don't want you to live in it. We want you to have healthy, great relationships. People who I can come to I want to come to some of you all's weddings, and I want you to tell me that you helped me. I was about to get with the wrong person, and then because I ended that relationship and got with the right woman, we're here today to say thank you, because we're happy, and we're happy that we both didn't continue in relationships that was going nowhere. And that's all we're trying to do as we continue on the Michele Hughes Show. We deal with singles, we dealing with sexual situations, and we want you to be satisfied in your relationship. That's why we call it Single, Sex, and Satisfied, because we want you to understand what those 3 words mean. And every time you find yourself getting into a tight rope with a woman, and you finding yourself, some of you are finding yourself in bed with women that you know you shouldn't be in the bed with that woman, but you done got all mushy. You let that person invite you over to their house, and they setting you up. because they want you, and they'll do anything to get you. I mean, they're gonna have on those little, little bikini, lingerie, and just to get you all excited, because they know that's the first thing that will arouse a man when he sees a woman's body. I mean, men, even in the church, they got a sense of, what's sexual, and when a woman's coming on them. And so many men have fallen because of some of the women that they have allowed in their life. And I'm not blaming it all on the woman, but I'm saying you got to wise up, men. You got to wise up and realize that you are putting yourself in jeopardy with women that you know in the end you're going to end up divorcing. How many people are in the divorce court? You talk to them one day, the next day they talking about, now all the rendezvous over, and now they dealing with the real. That's what it is. I was talking to my sister today, and she said, well, it's not all about sex. Now, my sister's been married for over 40-something years, and I said, well, how was it when you got married? She had to remember, yeah, you're right. And so I'm just saying to you all, you want to get to that point. How my sister and her husband, my older sister Jackie, how now, they've been married 40 plus years. And you want to get to that point. But you'll never get to that point if you don't make some good decisions now. You got to begin to say to yourself, okay, what is it going to take? I'm going to tell you what it's going to take. It's going to take going back, listen to this replay, listening to it over and over again until it gets into your spirit that you're going to do the right thing. You're going to stop making these pitfalls. You're making these pitfalls because you're not listening to the spirit on the inside of you, letting you know that this is the wrong woman, but you're going for it because of the sex. Now I'm going to be plain blunt, which is about the sex. And when you get over that function of the relationship, now you can get to the real. When I say the real every day, I'm saying the real person in that relationship. You got to know what you're dealing with. Sure, you're not going to know every little thing, but you want to know pretty much the person's temperament, how often do they get angry, just the little things that you can live with. And I can't answer that for everyone, because there's some things that you cannot live with. So why are you subjecting yourself to any type of relationship? Well, I hope you gotten something, you men. I love you all, but avoid. Well, until tomorrow, I want to wish you all a great day, because on the Michele Hughes Show, what do? We keep it real.
Thanks for tuning in to the Michele Hughes Show. Join us daily for more hot topics with the Queen of Relationships. Always keeping it real. See you tomorrow on the Michele Hughes Show.